Whew, is it hot in here? Or is that just the cosmos heating up with Venus re-entering Aries this week? Hi, my name's Haley Comet. This is Magic Monday. Welcome to your weekly astrological forecast. Today we're discussing the astrological happenings from April 28th until May 4th, 2025. But here within my cosmic corner of the internet, we dive into not just what is happening in the cosmos, but how it is that you can leverage these celestial energies to co-create more magic, alignment, and flow down here on planet Earth. So if that feels in alignment with you, grab a cosmic beverage of your own and let's discuss the astrological weather forecast of the week ahead. The cosmos is on fire. The cosmos is on fire. I know the world can feel like it's on fire because last week we did have that fixed T-square, which tends to be a little fraught, a little tense, but the cosmos is on fire. And what I mean by that is we just have a lot of the cosmos in the fire element, especially the inner cosmos. We have Mercury transiting Aries, Mars transiting Leo, and now Venus, the planet of love, re-enters Aries. And when we talk about fire element in astrology, we talk about ignition, desire, passion. And like I said, due to that aforementioned T-square, some of us could be feeling this fiery energy around being a little bit more rash, a little bit more impulsive, a little bit more angry, or apt to defend ourselves, stick up for ourselves. Some of us could feel it around this creative flow of energy, this authentic flow of energy, wanting to burn away anything that is not true to you and allowing your inner fire and desire to guide the way. And as the cosmos are heating up, so is the plot. And I say that because a lot of the inner planets have been playing catch up, right? Mercury, Venus, and Mars have all had retrogrades. So they've been playing catch up, right? They've been moving through territory that they've already been to, or now or soon, depending on the planet we're talking about, they're finally entering new territories of the sky. And when planets are moving into new territories of the sky, it tends to bring about new plot points, new characters, new developments, new fantasies. We do have a Neptune aspect this week. Mercury, as it stands currently, has cleared its post-retrograde shadow, so you have your cosmic green light for all of your mercurial matters, for signing the contracts, for launching the ideas, for having the new conversations. Again, when we talk about Mercury and Aries, Venus and Aries, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's going to lend itself to the spark of initiation and novelty. And you're in the clear Mercury-wise. This week, Mars clears its post-retrograde shadow, which is exciting. You know, a lot of you felt me when I said that I feel like I've been underwater since Mars retrograde began. And now the planet of energy and action is stepping into new territories of the sky. So this could also result in new initiatives. Venus is going to take a little bit of time. We'll be patient with Venus, or at least as patient as we can be with Mercury and Venus transiting Aries. It's very impatient energy, but we'll give Venus some time to step into new territories of the sky. You don't have to be too patient. She will in the near future in May 2025. But there is fresh new energy and wanting to be passionate, wanting to be lit up, wanting to move in new directions or very authentic directions. And something exciting about Venus's journey this week is, yes, she is covering territory that she's been to before as part of her retrograde journey. But when she aligns with Neptune, this is like a different flavor. Because the last two times that Venus and Neptune aligned, Neptune was still in Pisces. And now we get to experience romanticism, idealism, delusion in more of an Aries flavor rather than a Pisces flavor. And speaking of retrogrades, I want to highlight that as it stands currently, all planets are moving direct, except for North Node, which moves retrograde, so we don't count that. But all planets are moving direct, which indicates more forward momentum, a trajectory into the future, and being more concerned with pushing things out into the world, pushing energy out into the world, creating things. It's more active of an energy. Like I said, the circumstances are right for initiating new things, allowing yourself to be lit up by new ideas with all this fiery energy and grounding them down into reality with the Taurus sun. But to do that, it's going to be important what you're giving your energy to, with Mars still separating from Pluto, being very intentional to pick your battles, because this combination can indicate being a little bit more fiery, all the fire cosmos, and a little bit more stubborn, or putting your foot down, or going above and beyond to prove a point just to feel right in something. Like, really be intentional with where you're putting your energy, because the circumstances are right. If you do want to push something out into the world, create something, initiate something, and allow your fire to guide you, allow your desire to guide you. And all planets are direct as we start the week, but towards the end of the week, Pluto will station its retrograde. So Pluto in Aquarius has made it to all the way 3 degrees Aquarius. And now it's essentially stationing to stop in its tracks and begin to repeat the degrees that it has traversed before. What does this mean for us? Outer planets are not the most intensely personal influence ever. We do feel the planet and its impact when it does shift directions, but it's not necessarily something, if you were to come to me and you're like, Haley Comet, I'm launching this new hot sauce company, but Pluto is retrograde. Like, should I pause on the launch? It's like, when it comes to outer planets, they're more retrograde out of the year than they are direct. It's not the most like intensely personal and weaved within our worlds. It speaks to more collective shifts. However, Pluto stationing retrograde should draw awareness just to the Pluto and Aquarius story for you thus far, as well as really looking inward. Again, direct, out into the world, active, creative, forward momentum. Retrogrades are a little bit more passive, a little bit more introspective. So you may find that with Pluto retrograde, there may be contemplations around where it is that you are leaking your power out, where it is that you are giving your power away, where it is that you can reclaim your power, where it is that you can transmute. Like I said, with Mars opposite Pluto, rather than feeding into conflict or haters or what you don't want, where it is that you can alchemize that as fuel to pour into what it is that you do want, there should be an awareness on Pluto's role within your world, so to speak. So as always, my loves, we will discuss this plus so much more within our both thematic as well as day-by-day forecast. But before we dive in, you know how we do things here on Magic Monday, or maybe you don't, maybe it's your first time, but I'll let you know how we do things. Our next segment is called Cosmic Cafe. Take a step inside my Cosmic Cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on to start your week. I am sipping a delightful beverage. It's called the Cherry Bonbon. It's from a coffee stand here in San Diego called Cuppa Cuppa. I love that. Cuppa Cuppa. And it was so cute. They just had the best energy. The baristas were so sweet and so kind and so chatty. I was running errands this morning, aka I had to return library books, so I went to a library a little further than the one I typically go to, specifically to try out this coffee shop, because this drink, I guess, has been going viral. And you know when something just gets stuck in your mind? I very much strive to be someone who is empowered and who thinks for myself, but I am pretty easily influenced when it comes to coffees and things like that. This drink came on my For You page and it just like planted a seed within my mind where I was like, I cannot rest, I cannot sleep, I cannot wait, I need this beverage. I need this beverage within my life. So I guess I am pretty easily influenced, but I will say it's delightful. It's incredible. So shout out to whoever made the TikTok that I watched. It's like cherry almond chocolate flavored. It's very sweet. So if you're not a sweet person and you happen to be in San Diego near Cuppa Cuppa, maybe take the sweet down. Usually I'm more of an almond milk person, but the barista informed me that the almond milk didn't really vibe with the cherry, and I was like, well, that won't work at all. We can't have the almond milk not vibing with the cherry. So she recommended oat milk, and it's vibing. It's vibing, I'm vibing, it's delightful. I would love to know how it is that you are starting your week, what it is that you're sipping on. It's Taurus season, so I hope that it's something delightful. That's the downside of Taurus season, is that I just justify everything with, oh, but it's Taurus season. Like, I really did not have to get a coffee this morning. Like, I truly could have just returned my library books after my workout class and came right home. But I was like, it's Taurus season. I deserve a treat. I deserve a treat. So I know my wallet hates to see a Taurus season coming, because I justify way too much with, it's Taurus season, a new candle, a new latte. Why not? It's Taurus season. But anyways, this is delightful. If you happen to be in San Diego and near Cuppa Cuppa, I'm just going to add to the already viral drink and just say it's absolutely delightful. I love cuppa cuppa. And clearly the espresso is hitting because I'm in a really silly mood. But let's go ahead and take it into vibe check of the week. So if you are new to Magic Monday, welcome. The next segment is called Vibe Check of the Week. And this is when we take all of the influences of this week's astrology from the first quarter moon in Leo, Pluto stationing retrograde, Venus re-entering Aries, conjoining Neptune. We take all of that and we compare it to a real life scenario. I am not implying that this exact situation will play out within your world, but if you tune into the dominant themes, emotions, and vibes, you may see that similar ones do surface within your universe. So we will say within this week's vibe check that you are a personal trainer. You are a personal trainer. That's what it is that you do for your profession, and it is something that you take very seriously. And you happen to sign this new client. And of course, you're happy about having a new client, to have a little bit more funds, purchase more cherry bonbons or whatever it is that your heart desires. But when you meet your client, you find that your heart desires them. You realize that you have a ginormous crush on your client. And you are intensely attracted to them, and there's quite a bit of tension as it relates to your training sessions with them. And of course, you're a professional. Like, you acknowledge that pursuing this IRL in real life is completely off limits. But do you know what's not off limits? Is your imagination, your inner world. You know, when we've got a Neptune transit, our delulus, our imagination, our fantasies run wild. And so even if you're not a personal trainer with an off-limits crush on your client, you can find that your fantasies about your gym crush, or that person you made eye contact with at the smoothie shop, or the hot neighbor who moves in the apartment above yours. You could just find that your fantasies are getting a little hot and heavy, okay? With Venus and Aries conjoining Neptune, which just, you know, a harmless crush every once in a while really just makes life worth living. It just makes life worth living. You're not going to pursue it. Obviously, in the 3D, you are very professional. You do your job. You don't make your client uncomfortable or add in any uncomfortable undertones or do any adjustments. You just are there to do your job. But of course, there is this vibe, there is this dynamic, but there's also something off limits about it, which sometimes like rampens the attraction. Because we do have Pluto stationing retrograde, and Pluto, amongst other things, is the planet that governs obsession. And sometimes when there is someone that we desire, it can escalate into an obsession. And because Aries is an energy that does like a bit of a chase, sometimes if something is off limits, it's all the more desirable. And sometimes that can even fuel the obsession of it all. And we will say that even outside of your sessions with your client, we'll call him Jack. We'll say, Jack is your hottie new client. We'll say even outside of the times that you are training Jack, you're thinking about Jack. And when you get ready to go to the gym, you're like, I wonder if Jack's going to be there. And you're choosing out your fitness wear to ensure that you pick the ones that make you look good. And again, harmless crushes, they can sometimes just give our life a little bit more flavor. You have someone to like fantasize about as you drift to sleep. You have romanticized situations to play out in your mind as you're listening to music. You have reason to look a little extra cute when you go to the gym. But again, sometimes desire and passion and wanting someone, even if they're off limits, sometimes off limits, yes, it might seem like a waste of time, but this is energy that can be alchemized, right? Like we were talking about last week, when there's a lot of energy coming up, it has to be funneled into something, right? So there's all of this energy and you cannot put it in Jack's direction, obviously, but you can like utilize that crush or that desire to put into other things. So maybe even just the idea that Jack might come into the gym inspires you to hit the Stairmaster for a little longer and look a little cuter at the gym and maybe kill it extra with your personal training Insta because he follows you there. Like again, sometimes the people that we desire or are attracted to, sometimes they can bring about this energy that we can alchemize into fuel to support our own ambitions or being our best self or being our hottest self, our fittest self, whatever it may be. And let's keep in mind, you don't really know Jack. You don't know Jack about Jack. And that is the perfect conditions for a crush. That is the perfect conditions for a crush. Like, a lot of times they say that a crush is a lack of information. Because when we don't know a lot around someone, like you don't really see Jack within daily life, you don't really know who this person is, how it is that they operate within day to day, what it is that their morals are, what it is that their values are, what have you. But when someone presents themselves as a blank canvas where you know just a few things about them, you know that Jack hates leg day. You know that Jack prefers gym sessions in the morning. You have very minimal information to go off of, and that provides the perfect blank canvas where you're able to project all of the things that you would want Jack to be, right? Without that information, you can't imagine that Jack spends his evenings listening to classical music and reading French poetry, because maybe that's what your ideal person would do. Or you could imagine that this is someone who really loves animals and is really desiring to expand in a spiritual way. Like, you don't know that much about Jack, so you're able to imagine and fantasize the rest of the details. What's just important to keep in mind when it comes to Neptune weeks that we're navigating, whether this shows up for you within a crush, within a purchase, in a fashion decision, know that reality cannot possibly live up to a Neptune transit. It's simply impossible for reality to live up to fantasy. We can always idealize things and make them more glamorous and more sparkly within our mind. And sometimes the reality pales in comparison. So if you and Jack were to take this romance outside of the gym, you might not even like Jack. Like, sometimes those off-limit crushes, or it's never going to happen in real life, sometimes that's the best, because sometimes just reality just disappoints you. It's like, oh, you spend your evenings playing Call of Duty and eating Burger King. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I was envisioning you to be someone who read French poetry, drank great wine, and listened to classical music to unwind. Like, reality just isn't living up to the fantasy. How could it? How could it? Fantasy is unburdened by the anchors of reality. And I want you to keep that in mind, because this may not show up as a gym crush, a work crush for you. This could show up as a purchase. Seeing something that you're like, I've got to have it. You know, Aries is very impulsive. I've got to have it. I've got to have it. Getting sold by this beautiful advert of this one-of-a-kind vintage handmade bag that you're like, I've got to have it. So you impulsively purchase it and just have all of these visions of you with this bag, and it's just so beautiful. And then you get it and like falls apart in a week, right? Neptune is the fantasy. It's the airbrushed photos, the pretty marketing. It's not necessarily the reality around how durable is this purse? Can this purse keep up with my daily life? So it's important to watch impulsive spending this week, as there can be an energy of a bait and switch, or buying into a dream and feeling the adrenaline rush of the purchase, but being disappointed when the purchase arrives. Some of you could even have some sort of impulsive fashion decision or beauty decision where you decide, I'm going to dye my hair pink, and you go on Pinterest and you see all of these beautiful people with their pink hair, and you concoct this vision within your mind of what pink hair is going to look like on you. And then when you get it, it's not that it's bad, like you like it, but it's not what you thought it was going to be. Like, that's where Neptune energy can be a bit of a letdown, because how can we compare with fantasy? How can we compare with the vision that we had concocted of us with that one-of-a-kind purse, and the vision of us with the pink hair, and the vision of who Jack could be? Reality a lot of times can't compare, but it is fun to dream. It is fun to fantasize. It is fun to imagine. And it maybe even these fantasies inspire you to create something, to initiate something. It's just going to be important, especially with Pluto retrograde, not to allow these obsessions to consume you. Rather, decide to create with them. Like I said, push out into the world. Pluto is the planet of destruction and creation. And sometimes with Pluto energy, we can destroy ourselves, crashing out over Jack, crashing out over the purse that was not what was advertised, crashing out over the pink hair. And there's an ask to allow your obsessions to move in powerful directions, as well as calling your energy back from any obsession that you've had that's not really serving you. So if you witness yourself with the Jack situation, getting a little bit too lost in the sauce of it, like calling your energy back and being like, okay, what matters to me? My business. Like, my business is number one. It's not worth me sacrificing my personal training business for my little crush on Jack. Like, let me get my head in the game. Let me focus. Let me lock in to what really matters and reclaim my power from what doesn't matter. So we will give this vibe check more nuance as we take it into our day-by-day analysis. I just want to remind you that I'm located in California, so all time zones that I mention are PDT. So please adjust to your time zone if you are located elsewhere in the world than I am. I also want to let you know there are timestamps below. You are so welcome to jump ahead to a specific day or to jump back to a particular day. I know these forecasts are quite long, so some individuals like to just splice it up by the day, so that's an option for you. There's also a playback speed where you are able to speed me up, you are able to slow me down, adjust my rate of speaking to your rate of processing. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into the astrology for Monday, April 28th. On Monday, April 28th, I want to remind you that as it stands currently, the new moon in Taurus window is still available and accessible if you did want to do a ritual or some sort of manifestation or some sort of intention setting. Essentially, from an astrological point of view, the conditions around a new moon are very ripe for what it is that we want to call into existence, what seeds we want to plant to call in. And the energy of the new moon in Taurus, of course, last week's Magic Monday takes you deeper into the nuances of it, but I do want to share that this new moon is pretty particular in that if you just hear Taurus new moon, you might think a very cuddly new moon, a very abundant new moon. And it's not to say that it's not. It's just important to know that this new moon is situated between that Pluto-Mars opposition that we've been discussing. So it kind of adds a little bit of a more intense flavor. That yes, it can be aligned for calling in abundance and comfort and luxury, but with the square to Mars, also calling in the willpower in order to make that happen, the competitive edge in order to make that happen. But keeping in mind, your only competition is with yourself. With the square to Pluto, calling in the power in order to make that happen, even protecting your peace away from malefic forces or people trying to take it from you or feed off your energy or something like this, as well as transmuting any energy that's sent to you from anyone plotting on your downfall, okay? Any enemy, any hater, just allowing yourself to plant the seeds around alchemizing and transmuting that energy into something that benefits you. Because regardless if people are sending you positive energy or negative energy, they are still feeding you energy, which you can transmute for your own aims, for your own bank account with new moon in Taurus, for your own beauty with new moon in Taurus, for your own pleasure with new moon in Taurus. Now, it's not to say that you should intentionally incite rage or hatred within other people, but it's just basically knowing that when you are a main character, people are gonna talk about you. People are gonna hate on you. People are gonna be obsessed with you. It's just part of it. It's just part of it, okay? People throw rocks at things that shine, okay? And it's not about letting the haters or the negative forces win. It's just alchemizing that energy and continuing to build what it is that you value. So there's a distinct flavor in this new moon that makes it not necessarily a new moon that everybody needs to work with unless these themes really speak to you. Maybe consider doing a new moon ritual. The new moon window is alive 3 days after the new moon. That's what I consider on the waxing side, just because waxing is around things that we want to build and grow and develop, whereas being on the waning side before the new moon is typically things that we are releasing or shedding as we prepare for a new cycle. So that's my 2 cents on the new moon in Taurus and its energy still being alive in your Monday, your moon day. The moon stays in Taurus for a majority of the day, so there can be a focus around your physical reality, your sensual reality. You could get a random craving, honestly, because the Taurus moon aligns with Uranus at 5:33 p.m. You could just be navigating your day, you're defrosting the chicken, you have a plan around what you're going to make for dinner, and then a craving takes over and you just can't stop thinking about it. You're like, how will I possibly survive if I do not go out and get ramen tonight? How will I survive? And obviously you will survive. You will. But sometimes our body is just signaling something to us so strong. And I do believe our bodies are very intelligent and very intuitive. And sometimes, like the cravings that we have, there is something that our body needs of why we're being drawn to that particular food. That's not to say every time you're craving an ice cream sundae that your body necessarily needs an ice cream sundae. But sometimes if you are craving something that's very fresh, you're craving pokey, that's something that you're really calling in, or you're craving something with a lot of sodium. Like sometimes it's your body letting you know of certain deficiencies or something that it needs. So it's very powerful to listen to the cues of your physical body. So for some of you, your cravings could take you by surprise, but even just your evening plans could take you by surprise. The very nature of Uranus tends to kind of throw a wrench in things, bring some surprises and things that are unexpected into your evening time. That evening between like 8 and 10 p.m.-ish, the Taurus moon will sextile Saturn and Venus, who, keep in mind, conjoined and aligned last week. And I want to remind us of that because we are in Taurus season, which is a Venus ruled sign. So what Venus is up to is of the utmost importance, right? And Venus is separating from Saturn. The Taurus moon is acknowledging that separating conjunction, which is somewhat woven into the vibe check around the boundaries around this crush, right? Around, you have to stand on business. Like you can't go there. You can't go there within reality. And sometimes we got to have those bounds around, no, I cannot go after Jack. It's fun, a little like flirt here. Maybe they get a better workout if it's mutual. I get a better workout when I come in and I'm off and he works out in this gym, even when we're not doing our personal one-on-one sessions, and it stops there. Like Venus Saturn is like really having those bounds around, okay. And even, you know, if you do have a craving, you crave a cherry bonbon or you crave some ramen or something like this, like Venus and Saturn is like, okay, maybe we can indulge, but like a little bit. We can go out to eat once this week or something like this. There could be some sort of structure that you are defining around love or around your money. And I would just say with this really lovely evening to honor your intuition. Like you could just get a random desire, even if it has nothing to do with food, around, I really want to go for a walk. I really want a long bubble bath. Follow what feels good. Follow what feels yummy with the Taurus moon sextiling Venus and Saturn in Pisces. After the Taurus moon sextiles who it's answering to, Venus in Pisces, the moon is void at 10:17 p.m. PDT until the moon enters Gemini at 11:34 p.m. PDT. And Gemini speaks to our mental facilities, our intellectual capabilities, our connection, our chats with others. So you could feel a little bit more mentally lit up, a little bit more inclined to chat with the baristas at your coffee shop or chat with your clients or chat in the group chat, things like this. On Tuesday, April 29th, the moon is in Gemini all day long. It sextiles Neptune and Aries around 1:14 a.m. So if you happen to be awake for that, that could be something that like feeds your mind and your soul. So learning about something that also fuels your soul, like looking into the symbolism of a dream and feeling very aligned with that, or learning more around a particular angel number and feeling very aligned with that, or learning about a part of your astrological chart or something like this. It can also be like romanticizing or just seeing the beauty in just these small little interactions with others. Again, you really get to choose if everything is magical and aligned and for a reason, or if nothing is magical and aligned and for a reason. So even if it's just small conversations with your day-to-day, what would it look like if you viewed it through a lens around we're having this conversation for a reason, no matter how small it may be? I experience this so often when it comes to my one-on-ones. It's like so magical how we always connect at the right time. We always connect at the right time. But I know that when my one-on-ones were open, which they are closed at the time being, the only way to work with me is via self-care astrology. So please do not fall for any scammer who is sliding in your inbox saying that they have a message for you, beloved, or something like this. But when I meet with clients within one-on-ones, it constantly astounds me and amazes me how we always connect at the right time. And when my one-on-ones were open, I know a lot of you, it's kind of frustrating because it was like booking out for like 4 or 5 months in advance, but it would be wild how often I would sit down to start prepping for our time together and like see, wow, we're meeting on the day that they have this major transit, or like 2 days before this full moon aligns with their ascendant. It's like the cosmos is always doing its thing and orchestrating and aligning at the right timing. And because I'm someone who views this world like things are magical and aligned and synchronistic, I experience that within my reality. I go into interactions thinking, what are the odds? You and I, within the continuums of time and space, we are here connected right now. Like how magical that is. And then it's my job to like find the meaning in it around, why would the universe orchestrate such a meeting at a time like this? Let me dig in. Let me see how us connecting at this time can benefit your journey forward. It's a fun way to view life. And again, I see that with my clients, but it could also just be this energy around if you run into someone from your hometown or something like this, like contemplating, what are the odds that you and I would connect at a time such as this? How magical. And again, that could be a soft influence with the Gemini moon, sextile Neptune and Aries, or maybe even a louder influence with the Venus-Neptune conjunction aligning later on this week. You know, Neptune adds that little bit of sparkle, that little bit of synchronicity, that little bit of the universe doing its thing. The Gemini moon will trine Pluto in Aquarius at 5:39 a.m. Be very intentional what you are putting your mental energy towards. As I highlighted, Mars and Pluto are currently separating. Mercury is also separating from its sextile to Pluto. Energy goes where attention flows. And so being very mindful, because Gemini is very, very mental, so there could be some overthinking energy alive currently. Remember, it's Taurus season. Ground down into your physical body when you notice your mind taking on a life of its own, and really just contemplate the direction that your mind is moving in and observe it and see, is this serving me? Is this where I want my energy to go towards? And seeing wherever possible that you can like call it back or redirect it towards a different topic. It's not to say that we could turn it on and off like a light switch, but just being in that observer mode around recognizing, wow, I am freaking out thinking that I might have left my straightener on when I left for work this morning. Is this helping me being at my work desk, worrying and obsessing around if I turn it off or not? It's not helping me at all. Every single time that I stress about it still being on, it is in fact off and unplugged. So let me just like redirect my energy because there's nothing I could do about it right now. Things like that could be alive with your Tuesday, but it's not necessarily a detrimental energy, just feels like a soft acknowledgement of that. Especially with the Gemini moon, then sextiling Mars in Leo at 7:29 a.m. Great morning for a workout. Okay, it's Tuesday, Mars day. We've got the moon sextile Mars, so it could be feeling really good to be working out right now. If anything, it gets you out of your mind. If anything, it gets you out of your mind. Truly, the mental health benefits is my favorite part of working out. The key is finding a way of moving your body that's fun, that's you, that feels good, even with the energy of Taurus. Like, you're not going to stick to a workout routine if it feels laborious and you dread it every single time. Like, working out can feel good. You can move your body via a dance class, walking, roller skating, interpretive dance. Like, get down how you like to get down. And that's what will help you get moving. And a lot of times makes you much more consistent within your workouts. And like I said, moving your body can get you out of your mind. So maybe some of you are headed to the gym Tuesday morning. Maybe some of you have a gym crush. Listen, okay, maybe you're more consistent with your workouts because of that. This evening would be a great night to socialize, honestly. The Gemini moon sextiles Mercury in Aries. So there could be kind of like a flirty banter sort of vibe, wanting to connect, wanting to communicate. Some of you could even want to like watch some sort of intellectual documentary, or you could be writing tonight or creating content or something like this. There just could be like a pulse to want to learn or share or communicate. Venus is currently positioned at the anaretic degree of Pisces, which typically does infuse a little bit of urgency. So if you do go out, if you do go to happy hour, if you grab dinner with someone, there could be a nudge to indulge. We've got Venus in exaltation positioned at the last degree, and like I stated, we're in Taurus season. So you could be like, it's Taurus season. Let's get 4 appetizers. It's Taurus season. We're having a great conversation, right? With Gemini moon sextile Mercury in Aries. So let's order another bottle of wine. There could be a spirit of indulgence alive within your Tuesday. On Wednesday, April 30th, at 10:16 a.m. PDT, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, will enter Aries, which is the sign of its detriment. And this means that Venus does not particularly vibe in Aries. Just as the barista informed me today that the cherry did not vibe with the almond milk, the Venus does not necessarily vibe with the Aries. And it's not to say that there's not positives of this transit. Like, this could be fiery, you know, pursuing what it is that we desire, pursuing what it is that we value, being courageous as it relates to our beauty, as it relates to our finances, something like this. But it also can be an energy where we are quite impatient. This can be an energy where we do desire the chase, and then once we get what it is that we're after, we get bored. Right? Which is probably why it's good within the vibe check that you'll never take it there with Jack, because likely you would get bored. Likely reality would not live up to the fantasy and you would get bored in some way. Sometimes when something is unavailable or we can't have it, it just gets even more desirable, and sometimes we like build it up to be something that it's not. So it's just important to like clock that when you witness yourself doing that. If you have a crush within your world that's somewhat off limits, like it's not someone that you can really have or have right now, it's just recognizing that a lot of times energetically that almost amps up what we perceive the value to be. Keep in mind, Venus is around values. Venus is getting closer to Neptune, which shrouds and deceives. So we might not be seeing the accurate value of things. It's not to say that Jack is not an amazing, valuable human being. That's not what I'm saying. But when something's out of our reach, sometimes we put it on a pedestal and we build it up to be something. That's why it's like clubs where there's like a long, long line. It feels exclusive, right? It feels hard to get. It feels hard to get in. And then we're more enticed where that is the club that we want to go into versus a club where the bouncers are like, come in, come in. There's not a line. There's an energy around, oh, if it's that easy, I don't want it. If it's that easy, I don't want it. So it's just recognizing that, whether that relates to some sort of purchase, something has been on back order, it's been sold out, and you've just been desiring it and lusting after it. Sometimes that can up the ante or up the desire for something. It's like, do I really desire this? Or do I just like this chase around it being like harder to get or something like this? Just important to check in with that. As well as, you know, with Venus and Aries, check in with your spending. This can be a time that we are more impulsively shopping. And with Venus on Neptune, you may not get what you thought you were going to get. You may not get what you thought you were going. You may not get what you thought you were going to get. You impulsively decided that it was time for you to purchase a new couch. You didn't look at the dimensions. You just hit checkout and it arrives and it's actually a doll couch. A beautiful velvet doll couch, you know? You gotta read the fine print. You gotta ensure that this is something that you really want to spend money on before you click checkout and then it arrives and you're like, this is not what I built it up to be. Or even, you know, Venus and Neptune can speak to like even deceptive advertisement or things like this. Maybe they intentionally didn't make the proportions very forward. So it's just important to keep your eye on the Venus and Aries energy. And there just could be a desire to initiate, to allow the spark of what excites you to guide you. You know, the energy center that corresponds to sexuality and sexual energy is also the energy center, the chakra that corresponds to creativity, because it's creation energy. And it's knowing that if you're in some sort of situation where there's like some sexual frustration or tension or what have you, it's not saying it needs to go there. That can be alchemized into creative fuel to pour into something else. That can be fuel that you put into something else, that you put into your art, your creativity, your business, whatever it is that you're creating or fueling, and allowing the ignition of desire or of initiation or of starting something new or what have you to guide your pathway forward, to create a life that you are lit up about, that you are passionate about. And that does not need to be passionate about a person, passionate about a gym crush, what have you. If anything, Aries is the sign of self. So it's also just being your own crush, right? Doing what makes you feel magnetic and alive and charged up. And that's really what I want to express about Vibe Check, is that it's not about Jack. It's not about Jack. But the whole flirtation with Jack, it inspires you, it ignites you, and you use that fuel to put into your business, to put into your beauty, to put into the things that light you up. That's the focus. Because like I was stating, energy goes where attention flows. And with Pluto stationing retrograde, if there's an obsession where you're putting all of your energy towards the other person, firstly, energetically, that repels people when we're very obsessed with them or putting a lot of energy their way. And secondly, it's just not the smartest investment of your energy. Because we'll say within your like imagination, within your fantasies with Jack, it's like, yes, Jack's in the fantasies, but it's also like thinking about you and Jack competing in like a fitness competition together. And you like imagine the fittest version of yourself that's competing in this fitness competition, right? A lot of times when it comes to like desire and seduction, who it is that we're drawn to, it's not just the person themselves, but the version of ourselves that we feel like we'd be if we were to pull them. Or the version of ourselves that we concoct within this fantasy. So it's not losing sight of that. And in the morning time, the Gemini moon will align with Jupiter. So yes, the energy of Gemini moon, even Venus entering Aries, this sometimes can lead to a lack of focus, getting a little distracted by new sights or new things or new stimuli, what have you. But with Moon Jupiter, there can be a focus as you start your Wednesday around connection. What can I learn? How can I support my mind? There could be a sensation of optimism that you feel as you step into your Wednesday. And even that can show up around just like allowing yourself to think, what if it all went right? Like, what if it were to all go right? And questioning, like, am I dreaming big enough? You know, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the sign that does what other people say cannot be done, right? And that is a benefit, I will say, of the fixed T-square. I know that energy is kind of tense. Let me know if you felt it last week, if you're still feeling it currently as it separates. That is a gift of fixed signs, and just us being in a fixed sign season, is that fixed energy can be very petty to prove a point. And this can work in our favor if someone doubts you, says that you can't do something. A lot of times, fixed energy will lock in even deeper around, well, let me show you. Let me show you that I can, to prove a point, to be petty. And I will do whatever necessary in order to prove to you that I can do what it is that you say that I will not. So that fixed T-square in conjunction with Aries energy, which is around initiation and finding a will, finding a way, there can be something alive currently around envisioning new possibilities for yourself, regardless of what other people have to say about it, or if people think that you're capable of it. Are you dreaming big enough? Are you thinking big enough? If you're really bored with life, the Aries energy in the cosmos could nudge you around new challenges, right? If you feel like you've been resting on your laurels a little bit, you've been in your comfort zone a little bit, this could be an opportunity to take yourself out of your comfort zone, whether it's adding another weight on your, what's it called? Barbell? Gymbo? Dumbbell? This thing? Whether it's adding another weight there, or striving to get a faster mile time than what it is that you got last time, or start something new within your business, or start a passion project on the side, or learn a new language, or what have you. it's healthy for us to challenge ourselves in new ways and for these challenges to be intrinsic ones that we set for ourselves and that fascinate us, with Gemini moon aligned with Jupiter. Midday, the Gemini moon will sextile Chiron in Aries, which can just be a recognition around where it is that you are healing. And that evening at 8:49 p.m., the moon will square off with Saturn. So we're going to feel that build. There's like a optimistic energy as we start the day, at least PDT wise. This may be different based on where it is that you're located. And then kind of a wah-wah energy as we move into the evening time, which of course, that's life. There's ups and downs. And sometimes that's where it is that we really find a testament to our healing and the work that we've done on ourselves, is when situations are hard, when we have a bad day, when our partner's in a bad mood, when we didn't sleep well, when we didn't get a great workout, and when the ingredient that we wanted to make a dinner with isn't there. Like those just life moments. Sometimes that is the opportunity to really put what it is that we're learning into practice. So if you've been doing mindfulness work, you've been doing meditation, you've received a message from your guides, right, to implement. That's all well and good when you're having a good day and things are flowing and things are aligning. But how do you put that into practice when things are a little bit harder? Like that's really when it counts. And those can really be the biggest learning opportunities. And it's just recognizing we have the moon in Gemini, which is the twins, speaks to duality. It's just recognizing that within this life, there's just good and bad. There's ups and downs. I have this particular cadence as it relates to my day-to-day, and I would love to know if other people observe this as well, where I have a good day and then I have a bad day. And it's not to say that half of my life is bad. It's not bad. It's bad as just feeling a little bit off, having a headache, not being able to sleep, feeling bored, feeling drained, feeling depleted, not having time to work out. Like just like things where it's just like, life. There's still enjoyment in it. I'm not saying half of my life is bad. But it gives me a lot of comfort in those days when I am just not vibing off the beat. It like gives me a lot of comfort to be like, tomorrow's going to be a good day. Because I just know that's the cadence of my life, is that I have a kind of off day and then I have an on day. And I just take it in stride because it always gives me something to look forward to when I'm having an off day. And it nudges me to really enjoy my on day because the following day may not be as on. Like today I'm having an on day. Yesterday I had the off day. As it stands currently, I'm traveling. I've been updating you guys on my travels. So I'm currently filming ahead of time. So yesterday I filmed last week's Magic Monday and I tried to make this white coffee, which I got in Seattle. Let me know if you've heard of white coffee before. We visited Seattle years ago and we went to this coffee stand and we tried white coffee and I loved it. We went to Seattle years ago and we had heard of white coffee and we tried it from a coffee stand and I loved it. So if you've never heard of white coffee, it's an under roasted bean. So it's considered to have like 2 times the amount of caffeine as other coffee. And I don't even know how to explain the caffeination. It just made me feel more like focused. I wasn't really jittery. I just loved it. So on this most recent trip to Seattle, I was so excited to find white coffee again because I adored it so. And we found it finally, like towards the end of the trip. And I got a bag of grounds to take home. And yesterday, getting ready for Magic Monday, I was so excited. I was like, I get to make this white coffee. And I made it. And when I say it was so gross, it was so gross. I don't know if I made it wrong. I don't even know. But that just like ruined my day. I was like, should I even film Magic Monday? Just like such an off day. Just like little things like that. Obviously not the biggest deal ever. But I think I spent like $16 on that white coffee. And for it to be gross. And I've been like dreaming and fantasizing about white coffee for years since we tried it all those years back. And for it to be just like such a letdown and such a disappointment. I was just like, ugh. But luckily the cherry bonbon more than made up for it. I just may need to do more research and figure out how to properly make it because it was nasty. yesterday. So maybe the good that came out of it is that we all learned something new. I'm gonna hopefully learn how to make white coffee, and maybe one of you is now informed about white coffee. But the moon will be void after that square to Saturn at 8:49 p.m. PDT. So there could just be something that's a little bit of a bummer to wrap up your day. It's like you go to make a new tea and it tastes weird, or you have a headache, or you're anxious and you're having a hard time going to sleep. There could just be lifey stuff. On Thursday, May 1st, happy May. Firstly, I cannot believe we are in the 5th month of the year. I personally believe if anyone else out there is like, goodness gracious, we are almost halfway into 2025. What is this year? I just want to say, be gentle with yourself. We have been navigating a lot of retrogrades, like the cosmos have been not letting us breathe. So please be gentle with yourself if you've been experiencing a lot of setbacks, things have not been progressing as you thought that they would. Again, from an astrological point of view, we're only really like a month and a half into the year because the new year begins when the sun enters Aries. So all in all, just be gentle with yourself. But I cannot believe that we're to May. Happy May. We have the sun in Taurus, we have the moon in Cancer, and both these energies are around what's comfortable, what's secure. And so there just could be this desire with the moon in Cancer around wanting to really nest into your home, wanting to beautify your home with the Taurus sun, wanting to cook for those that you love, cook for your family or something like this, to get fresh flowers to have in your home. Those moments of beauty and just really creating a sanctuary within your physical environment, like it truly goes so far. And the Cancer moon will square the building Venus-Neptune conjunction. So keep in mind, Venus-Neptune aligns tomorrow. So with Neptune energy, it tends to kind of like melt out beyond the actual time that it exacts. So keep in mind the Venus-Neptune, delulu, fantasy, idealization, sleepiness, sensitivity could very much be alive currently. And with the Cancer moon squaring Venus and Neptune, this could be an energy around maybe some of you have a crush where it's not necessarily off limits. Maybe for some of you, this is you being a little bit more bold, like your fantasies kind of like hyping you up to be a little bit more bold, to make a move. There just could be this push-pull because Cancer moon deeply wants to feel safe, especially emotionally, and Venus and Neptune and Aries can be around being bold. So there could be this push-pull around, should I make a move? Should I stay in my comfort zone? Like there could be like a push-pull there. There also could be an energy with the Cancer moon. It's very nurturing. So there could be an energy with the building Venus-Neptune where you are overgiving or even just like overextending yourself emotionally or taking on more than you necessarily need to emotionally or something like that. There could be like a lack of proper boundaries that you are putting in around what's your stuff and what's other people's stuff, or just like a push-pull between being part of a family unit and doing your own thing. Could also be like a little bit of a push-pull where it's like you want to spend the evening by yourself and getting a workout in, but your mom needs help with a favor or something like that. Could be like a little bit of a push-pull. But these squares do happen very early in the day, like technically in the middle of the night. So for a lot of you, there could be some unusual dreams alive, and Cancer moon does speak to the past. So there could be characters from the past that you're like, why are they popping up within the ethers? Like, what on earth? And keep in mind, Venus and Neptune and Aries, some of these dreams might be a little spicy, okay? And with the Cancer moon squaring Neptune in Aries at 2:14 a.m., whatever the dreams were, whether they were spicy or not, there could be an energy like just in the morning around just like needing to like untangle yourself from dreamland and like come back into reality. Neptune kind of gives this like what is real energy to life, and it's just so wild that when we're dreaming we go somewhere else and then we're just like transported back to reality, and we wake up and we have tests and deadlines and the commute to work. Like it's wild sometimes adjusting that quickly. And so I would say on Thursday morning, like giving yourself a slow integration time. That's why I love meditating first thing, because as you all know, I have a very active dream space. So that's like a way that I'm able to like cleanse myself of whatever I energetically picked up. Goal is like intention set, what I want to like call into the day. It just kind of like creates a smooth transition into the day. And even if your dreams were not wild in, this might be a helpful morning to just take it slow, to do things that comfort you, things that comfort your soul, to take it into your day. And the Cancer moon will sextile the Taurus sun that evening. So wonderful evening to make a meal for someone that you love, to enjoy a meal with someone that you love. That could be such a love language, truly. Lovely time to have some fresh flowers to enjoy within your home, to burn a candle, take a bubble bath, to enjoy the little luxuries of life as well as the comforts of your home abode. And listen, if you're in that bubble bath, imagining different situations with you and Jack, with Venus and Neptune getting closer and closer in the cosmos, listen, I won't tell if you won't tell. So your horoscope for Friday, May 2nd. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day. We are, of course, in a Venus ruled season, Taurus season. And on Friday, we have a Venus aspect as Venus in Aries will align with Neptune in Aries at 10:07 a.m. Now, keep in mind, even though we have all this Venus-y energy, Venus is not particularly happy in Aries. But it is aligned with Neptune, which some astrologers believe that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, as Venus is around beauty and Neptune is like this higher level, ethereal level of beauty, inspiration, and muse. And with these two fused together, you can be receiving creative downloads around things that you want to create and initiate. And with this energy of Aries, recognizing that it will not be for everyone. And Spirit is choosing you to be the conduit for this idea, for this song, for this painting, for whatever it is that you are conjuring and creating. You are being chosen intentionally to be the conduit for it. And sometimes when we get in our own head around how will this be perceived, or what will people think of this, or is this too much, we dilute what is wanting to come through us, to flow through us. I know for me personally, whenever I like kind of get in my own head around, gosh, was that a weird analogy? Or like, where did that come from? Like when I get into that commentary mode or even anticipating commentary from others, sometimes it pulls me out of the authenticity of what just instinctually is flowing through. And sometimes if we try to make something for everyone, something that is palatable for every single person, it dilutes the authentic fire of what is coming through. That will not be for everyone, but it'll be passionately for some. And it's better to create things that are passionately for some people rather than lukewarm for all, in some regard. And so some of you could be feeling more lit up, more inspired around a piece of art or something that you want to create. Now, for some of you, like within the vibe check, this could absolutely be drawn towards some sort of crush, some sort of object of desire, object of affection that you are crushing on, fantasizing about. Again, Aries energy does idealize the chase a bit. And sometimes when we attain what it is that we've been chasing after, we find that its value decreases. Not to say that these objects of our pursuit, whether it's that purse that you've been dreaming about on Instagram or that person that you've been dreaming about, it's not to say that they're not valuable, but like I said, when there's a challenge, when there's a chase, sometimes it becomes about winning it, getting it, attaining it, rather than the actual experience of having it. And dreaming of something versus maintaining it are two very different things. And so with Venus on Neptune in Aries, this could even be an energy if you do go on a date or something like this. You've been hyping this person up and they're great, but it just does not compare to what you had concocted and conjured within your mind around, oh, you don't read French poetry and listen to classical music every night? No? Maybe then you're crushing on someone new, something like that. But This could also just be an energy around, those harmless crushes, just even the person that you get your smoothies from in the morning, or an oomph that you have, a mutual that you have online where there's like flirting and you know that it won't go anywhere. Like with the Venus and Neptune, it's like you could dream and you could idealize, you know that it won't actually happen. And sometimes that's fun. Like not everything needs to happen IRL for it to be valuable, or whether it's fun or it's flirty or it inspires us to post hot pics on the gram or do an extra set at the gym or kill it within our business. And you'll want to be mindful as it relates to purchases at this time, really seeking clarity before impulsively purchasing something. As with Neptune, details can be foggy. There could be baits and switches, or even scam energy can be alive when it comes to Neptune. A lot of individuals will experience Neptune energy as feeling very sleepy, feeling a little bored with life, or a little like, what is real? What is happening? Like Neptune energy can kind of just bring about that kind of like foggy energy. And with a Venus Neptune, we could just be feeling disillusioned with life, bored with life, and really craving of that something more, which again, sometimes that's why a sprinkle of a crush here and there, or getting lost in an album, getting lost in a movie, these little things can make life a lot more fun or a lot more pleasurable, or things like this. Venus is the planet of pleasure, and Venus in Aries can be a little bit more adrenaline seeking or excitement seeking. And with the energy of Neptune, this is not particularly conducive around, boundaries or limits. So definitely be mindful if you're like going out on Friday or something like this. This can be a very compassionate, selfless energy. However, it is in Aries. So it's an interesting blend of all of this together. It could be you compassionately advocating for something that you value, that means something to you, that feels bigger than you. When you feel backed by something that feels bigger than you, your boldness and your courage will astound you. You will be more inspired to stick up for that cause in ways that you did not deem possible, and you will be more apt to put yourself out there, even if it's scary, because you do feel backed by something bigger than yourself. And a lot of times that can help us get out of any space around worrying what other people think, which, P.S., please don't do that right now. All this fire in the cosmos, I'll put your energy towards that. But it can be helpful to get out of our own way around how am I being perceived, or am I too much, when you do feel backed by something bigger than yourself. Like that is what gets me here in the Cosmic Corner every single week, is that I do feel connected to something that is bigger than myself. I feel connected to my own personal purpose. I feel connected to my own personal why. And that inspires me to show up authentically, knowing that it will not be for everyone. I know a lot of people will come to my channel and feel like I'm too all over the place. I'm too flighty. I'm too whatever people say. I don't even know. Too busy doing me. Obviously, that's just going to be the experience of life. Whatever it is that your craft is, whatever it is that your business is, you cannot please everyone. If you struggle showing up authentically, even if that means it's too much for some, when you connect to your own personal why or purpose, it makes it a lot easier, because then you just see yourself as a conduit for something that's bigger than yourself. And when we view it from that lens, it's rather self-centered to be too concerned around how am I being perceived and do people like me, if you genuinely believe that it is connected to something that is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. Don't internalize it. Don't take it personally. And overall, as you navigate your Friday, you will feel yourself kind of pulled into dreamland, fantasy, building a whole hypothetical scenario of the hot neighbor that you saw who lives down the hall or above you or what have you. And again, Neptune energy could be inspiring for that. Maybe write a sonnet, write a song, put that into something. This could be an energy where you are fundraising for some sort of cause, putting your energy and your actions around securing funds for something that's bigger than yourself can be alive within your Friday. You could feel inclined to donate towards some sort of cause. Just be mindful, Neptune energy isn't always as discerning, so maybe just double check that you have the resources to give before you opt to do that. And really just seeing where it is that you can romanticize your life, where it is that you can even see the fun in life. Even if you have like a work crush and you know it's never gonna go anywhere, but it just adds a little bit of banter. Like you guys kind of like tease each other, make fun of each other, and it just makes the days a little bit more fun. Maybe even like playing a game with yourself. Just those little ways that make life a little bit more fun, that provide us a break from the monotony. On Friday, the moon's in Cancer all day long. The Cancer moon squares Mercury in Aries at 8:38 a.m., which is a battle of the head and the heart. Truly, like moon, what it is that you feel, Mercury, what it is that you think. So this would represent within the vibe check this push-pull around, but I really like him, but you shouldn't, but I really like him, but you shouldn't, or something like this, like kind of like an internal battle, or just feeling pulled around. My intuition says this, but logic says this. You could feel pulled. The Cancer moon squares Chiron in Aries at 6:05 p.m. And when it comes to Cancer moon square Chiron, firstly, there can be wounds around a sensation of belonging or a sensation of home. You can feel not welcomed within your home, not welcomed within your family, or just like different than your family in some regard, or like coming home and just feeling like your house is so like empty and maybe feeling a little bit lonely, or something like this could be alive within your Friday afternoon. I also want to speak to this in reference to Venus conjoining Neptune also aligning on Friday, because Venus-Neptune, it's kind of like the astrological embodiment of limerence. And when someone is limerent, it is kind of like that situation with Jack, like times 100, right? Where it's typically someone who's unavailable, or there's like some distance there, and there is a deep adoration, obsession for this particular person. And again, putting them on a pedestal, and more of your world kind of going towards that person or revolving around that person, which, like I said, crushes can be harmless, romanticizing and idealizing can be harmless, but just ensure, especially with Pluto getting ready to station retrograde, that it's fueling your world. If you are just fantasizing about this world with Jack, you're putting your energy like out into the ethers. Where is it going? It's just fantasizing about something that is not within your reality, or thinking about, gosh, when this happens or when this happens, it's like it hasn't happened. And Aries energy does ask us to be impatient about the right things, right? Get impatient around your desires and the authenticity that you have and the life that you want to live. And rather than allowing so much of your energy to kind of go into this make-believe world, you can go there, but use it to fuel your real life around, I'm inspired by this person, so that makes me want to work out harder or reach my goals more, or things like that. Like, limerence can sometimes pull us out of our life because we're pouring so much of our energy into hypotheticals and one days, and it detracts from the life that is alive around you, the love that is alive around you, the beauty that is alive around you. And I wanted to speak to this in reference to the Cancer moon squaring Chiron, because limerence is oftentimes a coping strategy if our emotional needs are not being met. We can put everything that we are not receiving towards this person or towards this idealized version of our life with this person, which of course we know with Venus Neptune, this person cannot possibly sustain all that you're projecting onto them. And sometimes it's to escape from our own loneliness, or what we feel like we are not nurturing or feeding within ourselves. And it's also knowing that that is an illusion. Like, sometimes just acknowledging that is helpful around, this is an illusion, because when we are projecting a lot, idealizing a lot, or obsessing over someone, a lot of times we can project this person to be the answer to our loneliness, our needs that were not met. We can dream up this person to be the antidote to all of our suffering, or everything that our real life is devoid of at this present moment in time. But this is a fantasy. This is an illusion. Jack cannot take away every negative thing that's ever happened to you, every bad thing that has ever happened to you. And when crushes kind of go into limerence, we tend to feel like this person is the antidote to every negative feeling, every feeling of rejection, every feeling of not feeling good enough, that if we only had this person, then all of that would go away. Which again, Venus and Aries, the process of desiring something, chasing something, and seeking to get it is very different than maintaining it. And no person can take away all of the negative things out of life, no matter how dreamy Jack is. He can't take away suffering and pain and anguish. No person can. So it's just like recognizing that and shattering that illusion if you see that coming alive. So it's just important. Of course, Neptune can be dreamy and idealistic, but Neptune does have a shadow side, and it's just important to check in with yourself around, okay, I have this crush on Jack. Am I using this crush with Jack to check out of my life and my business and my priorities and what it is that I'm about? Or am I using this to fuel my life? And while the Cancer moon squaring Chiron, you could have some like hurt feelings, feeling a little bit more sensitive in the evening time. The Cancer moon sextiles Uranus and Taurus, so it could be a great evening to bake something, to cook something, to make a simmer pot. Again, if you saw yourself within that visual of like kind of coming home to an empty house and just feeling like it's lifeless and like feeling a little lonely, give it some life, right? Have some flowers in your home, make a simmer pot, like put some energy into it, play some music, burn a candle, shake up the energy, move some energy, breathe in what it is that you want to feel, whether that is joy or creativity or pleasure, what have you. Infuse it into your home environment. Also, just want to highlight about Friday that today is the day that Mars clears its post-retrograde shadows. So finally we can feel like we're turning a corner of some sort, like our energy is conducive to forward momentum. New projects, new creative projects with Mars and Leo. And just a heads up, I put my cherry bonbon in the fridge because it was absolutely delightful and I want to save it for tomorrow. And it's getting a little later in the day and I try not to drink coffee past a certain hour. So I put that in the fridge and I grabbed this peach seltzer water to join us for the rest of our forecast. Very Taurus season that we have multiple beverages, all of the things with Taurus season. On Saturday, May 3rd, we start the day with the moon in Cancer. It trines Saturn in Pisces at 1:02 a.m. PDT. So if you happen to be awake for this, this could be really great for DIY projects around the home or even just like cleaning, cleansing, recognizing that this is also a way of moving energy. It's not just, buying fresh flowers and making a simmer pot, like also cleaning. If you ever feel like you're feeling stale, you're feeling stagnant, clean, rearrange, move some energy around your physical home. Great time for some spring cleaning, right? Bring in the spirit of renewal. And sometimes, is it hard? Yes. Is it annoying? Yes. Does it take a lot of hard work? Yes. But the Cancer moon trine Saturn and Pisces may be up for the challenge. And then the moon is void until it enters Leo at 4:29 a.m. And this draws our internal awareness to creativity, to what our heart is in, what our heart is not in. Life is too short to live it lukewarm or to be lukewarm, okay? If it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no, okay? So there's an invitation with all of this fire heating up the cosmos around follow your heck yeses in life. Life is too short to settle or to be lukewarm or to be like meh about things. Like follow the directions of what sets your heart on fire, sets your soul on fire, and get lost in it. In the morning time, the Leo moon will trine Neptune, trine Venus, so trine that Venus-Neptune conjunction. So this could be incredibly artistic, creative, like really going into a different world. Isn't that the best when you feel inspired and you answer the call and you just like write this beautiful sonnet for the hot neighbor down the hall in like 2 hours, or you write a song and it's just like, it just flows, right? When you're inspired, when muse calls, it's important to answer. And it just could be feeling really good to create or to let your heart guide the way, allow your intuition to guide the way. And even if you're not in front of your easel, you're not, dancing, you're not singing, whatever your chosen art form is, this could just be a really great day to romanticize your morning, really like enjoying the experience of playing with your toddler or making pancakes or whatever your Saturday looks like. And as we continue to navigate Saturday, it gets a little bit more and more intense. The Leo moon opposes Pluto in Aquarius shortly before 11:30 a.m. And then the Leo moon goes on to align with Mars. So just accentuating that separating Mars-Pluto opposition in the cosmos. And with moon opposite Pluto, again, you could be a little dramatic about your emotions, feeling things intensely and extremes. There just could be this focus around renewal. When you're like spring cleaning and you're like, everything needs to go. There's too much stuff. There could be like a nudge around that, around wanting to like start over or just begin again or something like this. There could be power struggles or ego disputes or something like this. With Moon on Mars, you could be feeling a little bit more ignited, a little bit more frustrated, but also a little bit more passionate. Whether that passion shows up in more positive ways or more negative ways, you'll have to let me know. You know, sometimes with Moon on Mars, we're more inclined to fight. We're more reactive, especially emotionally. We can feel like someone is coming for us and feel inclined to stick up for ourselves or stick up for someone that we love. You know, Leo is a very heart-centered, loyal energy. So if someone's coming for someone that you love, this could be an energy around, oh, heck no. Absolutely not. On Sunday, May 4th, shortly before 7 a.m., so at 6:52 a.m. PDT, we have the first quarter moon in Leo. So this does call back last week's Taurus new moon. Let me know how that was, by the way. And this is a check-in point into the Scorpio full moon. That's not next week, but the week after, because it lands on Monday, May 12th. But regardless, there is like a check-in point around how are we doing since the Taurus new moon and what is building and coming to the surface as we build to the Scorpio full moon. And again, it's a first quarter moon in Leo. And first quarter moons in and of themselves are crisis of action lunar phases. So it's typically like the manifestations, the intentions that we set with the new moon or just overall in life, what it is that we're seeking to build. This is representative of when it is that we hit that first challenge point, that first obstacle. And those are the moments that it really counts. Like I was sharing earlier, it's all easy to be love and light or to put our mindfulness into practice or to do our very best in business when everything's going well. But it's like, how do we show up when things get hard, when we hit a snag, when we're having an off day, when our white coffee flops? How do we show up? And the energy of the first quarter moon in Leo is also just like coming into alignment around what do you do it for? Like genuinely what your heart is in. Because when you care about what it is that you're doing, your heart is in what it is that you're doing, you will be inspired to show up amidst the challenges and the obstacles because you care, because your heart is in it. And the first quarter moon in Leo also speaks to leadership. And so maybe there's something that you're needing to advocate about or stand up for in some regard. But if you care about it, you tap into new levels of courage around it. And with the first quarter moon in Leo, maybe you're taking some sort of creative risk as it relates to your art, a creative risk of some sort. So there might be something that you are feeling challenged by currently, but you're being asked to dig in, to rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge around maybe this situation within the vibe track. Like this is a new obstacle. You're like, okay, I need to like do my job and like not allow this to impact the service that I'm providing and dig in because what means something to me, what my heart is in. At the end of the day, my heart is not in Jack. Like my one true love is not Jack. It's all fun and games, but my one true love is myself and my business, right? That's what I'm proud of. That's what I want to create. That's what I'm a leader in. So I'm going to meet this obstacle around, okay, this is the first time that this is coming up within my business. And now I need to find a solution towards this or to push past this or what have you. With every new level of success or of growth, there's new challenges that meet us there. With Neptune energy, this illusion energy, it's not just affecting our beauty and our bank account and our love life, right? These Venusian arenas. Like we can also have this illusion around the next level of success. We won't have any challenges or everything will be perfect. With every new level of success that we attain, whether that's like business success or our spiritual development, there's never a point in time in which the growth stops and everything is easy. That's an illusion. And we tend to think that. And I guess it is good that we think that because it inspires us to keep going and keep showing up. Like I remember within my journey, my goal for so long was just, I want to be full-time working for myself. I want to be full-time working for myself. When I'm full-time working for myself, everything's going to be perfect. And when I arrived to that, again, it was an amazing accomplishment. I was so proud to be able to control my own destiny and write my own checks and decide how it is that my days are spent. Like, that is such a blessing with my life. I'm so incredibly grateful for that. But it also presents its own set of challenges around, oh, I'm utterly accountable for my time and I have to motivate myself because no one will do it for me. And there's no one to turn to pick up the slack. Like, it's all on me. For better and for worse, which is what I wanted, which is what I desired, but that does come with its own set of challenges. And I guess it's good that in that time I was like, just got to get there and then everything will be perfect, because it motivated me to dig in and get to this point. But new challenges await at this level. And same for you. Wherever it is that you are now, wherever it is that you're going, new challenges will meet you there. New levels, new devils. Every new level of success or of growth will have different challenges in store. And this is the process of being alive. And so it's important how it is that you're digging in to meet the challenges that are showing up currently at this point in time. And Sunday may have this Plutonian vibe to it because this is the day that Pluto stations retrograde. And with Pluto retrograde, this speaks to collectively, there's going to be this review of power. Who has it? Where it's being wielded. Pluto energy, as we discussed in depth last week, it can bring up the shadow sides, what's beneath the surface, what's secret, and there can be a review of that. And this more so speaks to collectively, this review of power, who has it, what's been wielded, what's been done in the dark, right? These secretive Plutonian themes. But as you know, within Magic Monday, I strive to hone in around how it is that we are going to feel these influences within our daily life. So this does speak to more so collectively what is transpiring over the next couple of months. But personally, I just want to highlight that Pluto is the planet of transformation, and it's knowing, the inner planets are almost all in new territories of the sky. Like Mercury has cleared its shadow, Mars has cleared its shadow as of Friday. Venus is working hard, give it some time. But we are turning a corner. There's forward momentum, onward we go. And we can do the things in the outer world, but Pluto retrograde asks you, how are you doing the work within your inner landscape? Like your own psyche. Because, as I highlighted, every level that we ascend to has new challenges and obstacles that meet us there. And if you find that you're a little bored with the challenge or the obstacle, you're like, hello, I'm like running into the same issue over and over again. And maybe it's like the same thread, but different arenas of my life. And you feel like you're doing all of the things, but it's not evolving beyond. Like Pluto retrograde is like doing the work within around what within me is so drawn to this particular pattern, or what within my own psyche needs addressing here in order to shift this or evolve beyond this. Because if you feel like you're doing all of the things and you're trying to make forward momentum, but you still feel snapped back into familiar grooves within your own psyche, Pluto retrograde could be a dive inward around what's happening within. Like, I'm trying to do all the things out here, but I keep getting the same results. So what's happening in here? Because I am a true believer that what is happening in here in many ways impacts what's happening out here. And so if you feel like you're doing all of the right things, but you still feel stuck from the transformation and the empowerment that you're really craving, it's time to go within. And Pluto retrograde could also be contemplating power, again, to a collective level, who has it, where it's being wielded, how it's being wielded, what have you, but also where it is that you are giving your power away. If you're obsessing about someone, putting them on a pedestal, you are giving them energy. Truly, you are giving Jack energy. The more that you're like fantasizing about him or thinking about how he's the best or what have you, you are feeding that person energy. Same goes if you are idealizing an ex or someone else who is unavailable or out of reach with this Venus-Neptune energy. When you are escaping into this alternate world, dreaming about this person and one day and this, you are giving that person energy, which they can alchemize and they can utilize for their own aims. And I'm not saying that you should be stingy with your energy, but I'm like kind of saying you should be stingy about your energy. I'm not saying every single day you need to just be obsessed with yourself, consumed with yourself, although Venus and Aries, Mars and Leo, maybe be a little obsessed with yourself. But I'm saying utilize your energy towards things that benefit you and your life and being lit up by what it is that you're creating and the way that you live your life and the way that you show up and what it is that you do. not putting all of your energy into this outside world, like leveraging it towards your real life and your heart and what lights you up and what ignites you and the person that you came here to be. Because when you are obsessing over someone or anything like that, you are pulling on their energy. And again, if they're energetically aware, they can transmute that, they can use it towards their aims. Like Jack might get like a random burst of motivation to be like, I want to go harder at the gym because you were dreaming about you and Jack's wedding or whatever. Like, you're feeding that person energy when you're thinking a lot about them. And when you're doing that, it's taking away from things that could be utilized to benefit your life. So it's all well and good with the Venus-Neptune energy, but use that fuel towards your own aims. As well as know, yes, sometimes it shows up in a more amorous way with the Venus-Neptune, but it's also like if you are so obsessed with your competition and your haters and things like that, why would you want to feed those people your most valuable currency? That would be like going up to the people who are booing you in the stands and giving them money. Like, from an energetic level, that is what you are doing. You are paying them attention. It's like, no. Put that towards what it is that you are creating and what it is that you're about, and reclaim your power, really, with Pluto retrograde. Get obsessed with things, sure, Pluto is around obsession, but obsessed with things that benefit you. You know, like get obsessed about the topic that you're studying and this creative piece of art that you're working on and this new skill that you're mastering. Like, utilize your obsessions in ways that benefit you. And with Pluto stationing in the morning, there could be some Plutonian vibes in your Sunday around some Sunday scaries or feeling a little bit more fearful or paranoid or, again, obsessed. The Leo moon will trine Mercury in Aries and then sextile Jupiter in Gemini in the evening time. So this could be a great social evening. Again, you can fight against the Sunday scaries by going to see the sunset. Grab some tacos, go on a long walk, have a good conversation, do something to transmute the Sunday scaries. Like, it's Taurus season after all. Don't let the fears of Monday poison your Sunday. Enjoy the now, savor the now. So my loves, that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I am my own dream girl. And of course, sub this in based on how it is that you identify. But I wanted this to be our mantra this week because, yes, with Venus-Neptune, maybe someone will catch our eye who seems like our, our dream guy, our dream girl, our dream they, what have you. But at the end of the day, you are the love of your life. Like with Venus and Aries, you are the love of your life. And you will have crushes and connections and friendships and relationships with so many people within your world, but the one that will be constant and from the beginning to the end of your life is the relationship that you have with yourself. And allowing yourself to become your dream person, right? And allowing yourself to be lit up by your life and the person that you are, and doing what excites you and building a life that genuinely excites you. Because when you are doing what lights you up, like, that is magnetic. So rather than diluting and leaking out all of your energy and all of your power to the dream person that you are idealizing, remember to call it back to yourself and becoming your own dream person, essentially. So if you made it to the end of this week's forecast, go ahead and comment below the person with the weight emoji to let me know, or use the word weight within a sentence. You could either do like weights that we lift or weight to slow down all of the impulsive or impatient Aries energy with Mercury and Venus now in Aries. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Magic Monday. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, here in the cosmic corner of the internet. But until then, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.